and welcome to the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, continuing my 2016 season recaps for each and every team in the NFL. And today we're talking about the Buffalo Bills, and this was a disappointing season for the Buffalo Bills as they finished 7-9 on the season. Rex Ryan being fired as the head coach, and now a lot of uncertainty with this team moving forward with the front office, with the quarterback position, with the head coaching position. The Bills, man, are trending down. But before we look at the future, let's look at the past. Let's look at the key games from 2016. And the 0-2 start was unfortunate, but I wasn't going crazy, and deservedly so. Because right after that, they rattled off 4 straight games, and the first of those 4 being the key game to me against the Arizona Cardinals. Huge victory, man. And the Cardinals at this point were still the Super Bowl contender. You know, we thought at that point they were so talented, and they were. And they were able to beat them pretty handily. They ran all over that Cardinals team. And then you went after that, you beat the Patriots after that, beat the Rams after that, beat up on the 49ers after that, Bills 4-2. Now, I wasn't buying them as a playoff team, though, and deservedly so, as they lost 3 straight games: Dolphins, Patriots, Seahawks, LLL for the Buffalo Bills. And to me, the key game here possibly being against the Seahawks, as you had a real chance to win that game, but you couldn't go down the field and score a touchdown all the way down the field. You look at the next 2 games, though, you get 2 wins against the Bengals, against the Jaguars, good. But then another key game as you lose to the Oakland Raiders. And this, to me, is where they had a chance to go on a nice run to close out the season and possibly make the playoffs. But they were up, I want to say, 24-9 in this game against the Oakland Raiders. In fact, I picked them to beat the Oakland Raiders in this game. They let me down. They let you down as they lost this game. And to me, they lost their season. Because after that, they were done. They ended up going to, they hosted the Steelers, but they lost. They beat the Cleveland Browns, and they lost, and then they lost to end the season. And the last key game being the last game. We look at the New York Jets game, and to me, this is the one that's really concerning me, where we're talking about benching Tyrod Taylor because we don't want him to get injured, because we're going to let him go. We're starting E.J. Manuel, and then we're going to give Cardinal Jones some reps. And I'm like, man, this could be a look in the future, a vision of, I don't know, premonition of how the Buffalo Bills look in 2017. It could get this bad. You know, this is not a good way to end the season at all to me. I'm very concerned moving forward. But before we talk about that more, let's look at the individual performances from this Bills season. Let's start with the offensive side of things. Now, Tyrod Taylor, I like him, okay? And I understand he's not a great quarterback. If we're ranking the 20 quarterbacks, he probably, for me, is about 20, maybe 21. Some people have him in the top 15. I think that's too high, because he's a guy that he'll never throw for 230 yards a game. You know, and that's not even that high, okay? But he's a guy that plays smart, doesn't turn the ball over, runs well, uses his legs, makes pretty good decisions, but not much upside. Okay, so that's the problem. I agree with you there, but I like him a hell of a lot better than your backups and E.J. Manuel and Cardinal Jones. And when I look at E.J. Manuel, he may not even be back, so let's not even talk about him. When you look at Cardinal Jones, that last game, I think it looked pretty terrible, dude. Threw an interception, should have thrown 2 at least. He was lofting the ball a bit, did not look comfortable, was not making checks to the line of scrimmage, not making changes. I thought he looked terrible. And he's a rookie that can improve, but he looks fat also. That's not very good. And I don't know. I didn't like the draft pick in the first place, so. But apparently the front office likes him, and perhaps in practice he's looked very good. But if that's been true, then why did not go to him earlier? And also, why is he not at least been the backup? He's been the 3rd string quarterback. So to me, there's all kinds of uncertainty here, but I liked Tyrod Taylor this year. I did. We look at the running backs. What a great year for the running backs. What a great year for LeSean McCoy. Over 1,200 yards, a lot of yards in the receiving game. We look at Mike Gillislee. A great year for him. A resurgent year for Mike Gillislee. So the running backs were very good this year. Fantastic, as this Bills team was fantastic overall running the football. We look at their tight ends. Charles Clay, good year for him, over 500 receiving yards. To me, that's the number for tight ends, but that's like the good bar. If you're over that, you're good. Maybe not great, but you're good. We look at the other tight end, Nick O'Leary. He's all right. I liked him at Florida State, but he's never quite, to me, lived up to the hype. We look at the wide receivers. Sammy Watkins missed a number of games, man, and it's very unfortunate. When will he take that leap, man? I'm not sure. He definitely has the talent. I mean, we look at Odell Beckham. We look at Kelvin Benjamin. We look at Mike Evans, all from that 2014 draft class. Look at Jarvis Landry. And Sammy Watkins was drafted before all of them, man. And we haven't seen the guy that's more talented than all of them yet. But we still could in the future. We look at other wide receivers. Marquise, Goodwin, still primarily a deep threat, but this is his best season as a professional. Robert Woods, got a lot of criticism when he was not a great number one for this team. But of course he's not. Okay, because he's not supposed to be. To me, he's always been a number 2 guy, and maybe even a number 3. If he's on the Green Bay Packers, he's a number 3. So, to me, I like him moving forward. I wouldn't be too critical of his season this year. Only had about 2 drops, and he caught, I want to say, at least 65% of his targets. So that's an impressive number. I like Robert Woods. We look at the offensive line. Cordy Glenn, left tackle, great year for him. In a year where he needed to have a great year, he had one good. We look at Reggie Incognito. Rex Ryan did do something. He reinvigorated this guy's career. Good for him. He's been fantastic. We look at the center position. You had Eric Wood there. He got injured. Ended up getting this Ryan Groy, who was actually okay. So the center position was okay. We look at right guard. Some issues there. They weren't really consistent there. John Miller was started there for the most of the season. He was better than last season, but still not great. But the biggest red flag on this offensive line was Jordan Mills, the right tackle, and this right tackle position continues to be a problem for the Buffalo Bills. They had Jordan Mills in here this year. They had Cyrus Kouandjio in there for a little bit last year. They had Chantrell Henderson in it, I want to say last year, maybe the year before that. And this right tackle position continues to be a problem. Jordan Mills this year was terrible. To me, he was the clown of the year for this Buffalo Bills team, allowing over 7 sacks, a number of penalties, being lost half the time. Jordan Mills is the clown of the year, and he's a terrible player. We look at the defense. Before we look at the defense, though, the offense MVP of this team, to me, it's close, but I went with LeSean McCoy because he is more valuable than Richie Incognito. Okay, he's just more valuable. But Mike Gillislee was very good as well, and Richie Incognito very good as well. So we look at the defensive side of things. Let's start with the defensive line. Marcel Darius, missed some games, came back. Not dominant, but good. Okay, certainly good. I want to see him get back to that dominant, though. That dominant Marcel Darius. We look at Kyle Williams, a resurgent year for him. He needed it. I was disappointed with his season last season. This told me that he still has a lot of juice in the tank. And as we look at him as a potential cap casualty, I no longer buy into that discussion. We look at... to me, okay, the nose tackle for this team, it kind of switched around. You looked at Adolphus Washington, who was drafted this year in the 3rd round out of Ohio State, and he was disappointing. He really wasn't very good. I want to say he actually played the defensive end position, the 3 technique, but anyway, he really wasn't very good this year for this Bills team. Look at Corbin Bryant, same thing. This defensive line needs upgrades, and I think they're going to seek to find them either in the draft or free agency. I mean, this is a Bills team that gave up 4.6 yards per carry this season. You got to look at the defensive line and say, yeah, that's what we're looking at, because that's just way too much. Look at the linebackers. Let's look at the outside linebackers. What a year from Lorenzo Alexander. 12.5 sacks. No one had that coming. Don't lie now. No one had that coming. What a fantastic year from Lorenzo. We look at Shaq Lawson. Okay, he came in late, and I don't think it was very impressive, unfortunately, man. I really like Shaq Lawson coming out. In fact, I really liked him, but the injury concerns scared off a lot of teams, and we're seeing why. Hopefully next year he can bounce back, because I really like Shaq Lawson. We look at Jerry Hughes, and this is a guy that, he continues to be outside for this Bills team, and he is okay. But, the thing is, I think he's terrible against the run. He never really holds contain. He gets faked out a lot. Never really disciplined against the run. He needs to improve against the run, and he's like a 6-year veteran at this point. Need to be better than that. Look at the inside linebackers. Zach Brown, great year. Another free agent pickup that we look at and we say, wow, did anyone see this coming? What a year from Zach Brown. Wow. And I know, because I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, he never did that for us, man. I wish he did that for us. We look at the other inside linebacker position, Preston Brown, out of Louisville, I want to say from 2014, and he hasn't been great. And he needs to be improved upon to me because this is a guy that to me just doesn't seem to have the instincts required to play linebacker in the NFL. He is nothing more than a backup, if that, so improve upon him. We look at the safeties, the secondary. Let's start with the safeties. We'll start with Corey Graham. They transitioned him from corner to safety, I want to say last year, and he's been enjoying that transition. He's been good. Look at Aaron Williams. When healthy, he was good. Was he healthy all season? I'm not sure. But he was good. Okay. We look at the cornerbacks. Ronald Darby. I'm a little disappointed in Ronald Darby. I thought this was a guy that was going to have a huge year this year after what was a very good rookie campaign. Thought he was going to solidify himself as a lockdown, shutdown corner in this league. Did not prove to be true at all. Marcus Peters is the better player right now out of that draft class. And Stephon Gilmore, let's get to him. He was the best cornerback this year for this Buffalo Bills team. 5 interceptions, covered number 1 wide receivers more often than Ronald Darby, and was better, more consistent for sure. Nico Roby at the slot position. He actually excelled in this position. I like the slot position for Nico Roby. Let's look back to my 2016 NFL draft grades for this Buffalo Bills team. So Shaq Lawson, they took him in the first round. I gave that grade an A-. And it's proven to be less than that, unfortunately. And hopefully he'll be better and it can go back to an A- or even an A. But for right now, it's only been like a C+, man. Very disappointed, Shaq Lawson. Hopefully it was just the injury. We look at Reggie Ragland, a guy that didn't play. And again, you're talking about getting no production from your first 2 players for the most part. That's disappointing. Adolphus Washington, I gave it a B, is proven to be, to me, perhaps that as a 3rd round guy is not expected to be great, so perhaps that's a fine grade. Perhaps a B- would be more appropriate. Look at the 4th round, Cardale Jones, I gave that pick a C-, and I think it's been almost deadly accurate. He's still on the team, but he's not good. Okay, and perhaps he'll be good in the future, but I think this grade was a great grade. And Kevin Seymour, I gave that grade an A-, and I think that was actually a great grade. He's coming in the 6th round. Okay, he played a little bit, played actually decent, so I think that was a great pick. I give this whole draft class a B+, but right now, man, it's only been I want to say a C-. This has not been a good draft class. There's still a lot of room for improvement, though. If Reggie Ragland and Shaq Lawson come back and they play well, oh yeah, this is going to go up, but right now, it's only been a C-. We look at 2017 now, though. The 2016 season is gone. Let's look ahead to 2017 off-season. Start with the cap space. $31 million in cap space, and that's not a lot, especially when you consider the fact that this team does not have a lot of cap casualty candidates. The number 1 being Kyle Williams, but I don't think you want to get rid of him. Tyrod Taylor being the number 1 option, actually. This guy's gone. Okay, and that's going to release, I want to say, about $13 million. Okay, so that'll help. That'll help a lot. Although I wouldn't do it, to be honest. I would not move on from Tyrod Taylor yet, but that's what they're going to do, and whatever. So this cap space number will go up. Okay, fine. We look at their key free agents. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of key free agents. Let's start with Stephon Gilmore. To me, you need to re-sign him. This is a guy that you know how he's going to play in your scheme. He's been a little inconsistent, yes, but his baseline has been good, okay? It's always good. It's either good or great, good, great, and then sometimes a little disappointing, but he's good. To me, you know how he works in your scheme. Don't go out trying to find a new cornerback. To me, Stephon Gilmore is your guy. Re-sign him. We look at outside linebacker Lorenzo Alexander. Gotta re-sign him. Perhaps this year was a 1-year wonder, a Cinderella thing, but 12 sacks, dog. There's only a couple people in the NFL that have ever done that. You gotta re-sign Lorenzo Alexander. To me, Zach Brown, a great year for him. Again, perhaps only a 1-year wonder, but I like that 1-year wonder. So give me Zach Brown back. Jordan Mills, let him go. Please, God, let him go. Robert Woods, I like him. As a number 3, maybe only as a number 3, but I like him. So I would look to re-sign him. I would. We look at Percy Harvin, let him go. Can everyone stop trying to fix Percy Harvin? It's not going to work. We look at Reggie Bush, same thing. They're done. We look at EJ Manuel. Let him go. He's not very good. Not a good backup. Not good. You look at Marquise Goodwin. He improved a little bit. I only like him as a number 4 option, though. So if you guys are fine with that, go ahead. But we'll see. We look at their team needs, though. So To me, it's not even to me, quarterback, right? They're getting rid of Tyrod Taylor. And to me, it's early. I wouldn't do it yet. I don't think they're ready for it, but fine. It's a need now, okay? It's now a need. Even though they have faith and confidence in Cardale Jones, I don't. We look at their right tackle position. Dear God, can you guys finally fix this right tackle position? I'm so sick of this being a problem with this football team. We look at cornerback, okay? This is assuming they let go of Stephon Gilmore. If they do, they're going to need a new corner. If they don't, I think they're fine. This Bills team, I want to say, was 6th in passing yards allowed in terms of the least amount of passing yards allowed. That's good. Good. We look at their inside linebacker. If they let go of Zach Brown, even if they keep Zach Brown, because, okay, maybe not. Reggie Ragland, if he comes back, he should be good. I like Reggie Ragland as a prospect. So if you guys keep Zach Brown, then this is no longer a need. If you guys let go of Zach Brown, this is definitely a need. We look at wide receiver. If you guys let go of Robert Woods, this is definitely a need. If you guys keep him, then this is a little bit of a need to me personally, because I like wide receivers. I used to play wide receiver a little bit, and you're looking at this wide receiver class, and also this free agency class, I would look to get a number 2 wide receiver if you can. I would do that, especially in the first round. So to me, this is a need. And we look at defensive tackle. To me, you need some more meat. I know Adolphus Washington can improve, but you know, you're going to get rid of Corbin Bryant probably. So you're going to need a nose tackle anyway. So let's go get a defensive tackle. And then outside linebacker, you look at that position, and again, it's assuming they get rid of Lorenzo Alexander. If they do, they're going to need one. If they don't, I still might look to improve, because you don't have an outside linebacker right now that is strong against the run. Shaq Lawson could prove to be that, but let's at least get depth there. Now let's look at some potential free agent and trade acquisitions. Quarterbacks: Jay Cutler, Tony Romo, Nick Foles, Mike Glennon, Colin Kaepernick. Now, Tony Romo to me would be a great fit. I would love Tony Romo in Buffalo, although maybe this cold weather may freeze him up and leave him susceptible to injury, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Jay Cutler would be interesting. I still have some faith in Jay Cutler more than most people, so I'd be interested to see what would happen. Colin Kaepernick, I doubt it, because he's very similar to Tyrod Taylor, so why would you get Tyrod Taylor? Not even 2.0, I'd say like negative 2.0, right? He's worse than Tyrod Taylor. We look at Mike Glennon. You know, if you want a little game manager, fine, but why get rid of Tyrod? Same goes with Nick Foles. So I don't know what they're going to do at the quarterback position. If I knew, I'd tell you. I guess the most likely thing would be Jay Cutler, because he's different than Tyrod Taylor. He's giving you something different. Also, Tony Romo as well. We'll see where they go. Also, Brian Hoyer, possibility here, but we'll see. We look at the right tackle position. Riley, Reiff, Menelik, Watson, Mike Remmers, Gosder, Cherilus. I really like Reiff. I like Watson. Not so much Remmers and Cherilus. Cornerbacks: Terence, Newman, Prince Amukamara, Marcus Cooper. Inside linebackers: Sean Spence, Perry Riley, Will Compton. Wide receivers: Kendall Wright, Pierre Garçon, Brandon LaFell, Terrence Williams. Defensive tackles: Sylvester Williams, Vince Wilfork, Glenn Dorsey. Outside linebackers: Datone Jones, Alex Okafor, and Eric Walden. Look at some potential draft picks. This Bills team is supposed to have, I want to say 7 draft picks. Yep, 7 draft picks, including compensatory picks. Potential draft picks in the first round: if you guys fall in love with the quarterback, Mitch Trubisky or Deshaun Kaiser. Wide receivers: all 3 possible options in John Ross, Mike Williams, and Corey Davis. We look at offensive tackle: Cam Robinson. Some teams view him as a right tackle in the NFL, so this could be a nice fit. Inside linebacker: Reuben Foster. Pair him with Reggie Ragland and Zach Brown if you guys decide to keep him. Cornerbacks: Marshawn Lattimore, Marlon Humphrey if you guys let go of Stephon Gilmore. And which really wouldn't make sense to me, because I don't think Lattimore or Humphrey would be better than Gilmore. You took Gilmore, I want to say, at this very position 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago now. So I wouldn't get it. But anyway, outside linebackers: Tim Williams and Derek Barnett if you guys let go of Lorenzo Alexander. Look at the second round options. Quarterbacks: Deshaun Watson, Brad Kaya, maybe Patrick Mahomes. Wide receivers: D.D. Westbrook, Isaiah Ford, Cooper Kupp. All viable options. Offensive tackles: Roderick Johnson, Zach Banner, Deion Dawkins. Also, some cornerbacks: Jordan Lewis, Desmond King. Some outside linebackers in Harold Landry and Ryan Anderson. There you go. That's a preview of the 2017 offseason for the Buffalo Bills and a review of their 2016 season. When we look at this Bills team in 2017, I don't like the GM, Doug Whaley. He's fine, actually. I mean, but the thing is, there's a lot of uncertainty up there. They're having a lot of rumors coming out and a lot of this and that. But I will tell him this, okay? You did a great job of finding Lorenzo Alexander and finding Zach Brown. Those are two fantastic free agent signings. But your draft class not productive yet. If they don't do well this season, this Bills team, he needs to be gone. As it pertains to finding a head coach, you got to find a head coach that will come in here and will do well with this football team. Will you? I don't know. It's up to him. And also, I don't like this front office right now. I don't like the ownership and the way they're influencing things. The Pigulas, they've been getting a little too involved for my liking, and this quarterback position is under a lot of uncertainty. So to me, this team is under a lot of uncertainty. I mean, this team could be awful next year. They could also be a playoff team. I don't know where this team is going, but this offseason, I'm sure, would give us some sort of clarity as it pertains to that. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on the Bills. What are you guys' thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been the MJ Take on Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. Peace.